Can I get a moment of your time? All right. Bankhead, I see you, partner. From the interviews to the news to your favorite tunes, you cannot lose when you're tuned into Straight Out the Trunk Radio. Hit me,
What up, it's your boy Bankhead, Straight Out the Trunk Radio. I'm in Koreatown right now, you dig? Hey, I'm at Hush Money Studios with the owners of HushMoneyMusic. What it do? How y'all doing?
What's good?
I got Chris Thompson right here, straight from Palm Springs. I got Kubla, straight from AZ.
Here. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming through.
No problem. Hey, appreciate for having me. Studio's dope. You feel me? Studio's hella dope, bro. Yeah. How's your day going?
Oh, man, it's always good when people come in and smile and the energy come right. So, you know, it's Friday. It's a good day.
Great day. Let's get into it, though. We here at Hush Money Studios with HushMoneyMusic. You feel me? Can you talk about the name Hush Money real quick? Like, where did that name come? Because Hush Money, you know, it's a street name. The way, like, you don't tell where it comes from. You're like, shh.
I can't say nothing about that. I'll give it that.
We have a couple stories behind it, but basically when we first moved here, we came into the studios and we got robbed. So somebody snuck their hand up in one of the rooms, stole all our furniture, stole a bunch of computers. Long story short, we found them, and we said we need all our stuff back, some cash, and we'll run that subwoofer. And basically, it kind of came from that. We also had a song called Hush at the time, and it just kind of sounded hard. You know what I mean? It just came to Hush Money. I mean, there's. I can't speak on it too much, but it has a little bit of a backstory.
All right, I like that backstory. Make sure you get your shit back.
Yeah.
Basically, that's
we ain't run no gangs activities, but don't steal from our shit.
Facts. All right, Kubla, you from AZ.
Yes, sir.
And Chris Thompson, you from Palm Springs. Can you talk about how you two connect first?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we both ended up coming from like small desert cities. Obviously, I think we both realized that if we really wanted to do some music, it was going to be a lot tougher where we was from. So we actually ended up moving out here independently of each other around the same time. 2010, I think, for him, 2011 for me, and got introduced to somebody that was working in a studio that he was interning at, and through a mutual friend, and he was like, "Here in LA, you should definitely meet up with my boy." And then I met him a couple times here and there. But it was a couple years before we really ended up like realizing that maybe we should be linking on some tougher shit, right? He was working under his producer for years, and then they moved studios up, and it was too inconvenient for me to get there. So we lost some years in there, and then he came out of a situation in 2018, and he let me know, and he was like, "I'm in K-Town now." I'm like, "K-Town? What's in K-Town?" And I started pulling up. I was like, "I pull up K-Town," and just a humble beginning of an idea, and I just knew his level of talent, and at the time I was looking for something to get into, and I didn't want to leave my full-time job. I still haven't left my full-time job, so it was perfect. He could do this full-time, and I could get down on the business side and we could do something. So and since 2018 we've been building this.
Yeah, both artists, producers, songwriters. How do you guys mix and match with that?
Let me see what you got to say about that.
Terribly.
What you mean by terribly? Like,
it's hard to stay focused on one thing, let alone two. So we're still definitely struggling to keep consistent with our own music. I got years of songs backed up. I got like 40 smashes just on the computer waiting to drop, and I just I get a little caught up in day-to-day business stuff, but we're working on it. We're getting there.
Hush Money Studios. You have 4 fully equipped rooms. Can you talk about like getting the equipment, getting the measurements of the sound and everything, the furniture, shit like that? Can you talk about that? Like, you see where we at right now? The aesthetics of this is dope. You feel me? Like, you feel like you're at home. How important that is that for you guys?
Are we giving out the jewels today? Like, if you want the real sauce, we said fuck the gear. We didn't go for gear. We went for lights. We invested in lights. That was our first investment, right? And people started coming and see the lights. It's like, what's up? Didn't care about what gear we had. It was a vibe. So might have just gave up the cheat code, but now we see studios popping up they see our pictures, they start putting lights in their shit a little more than normal, and we're cool with it. We feel like, okay, we might have did something. People are trying to emulate. That's the highest form of flattery, so we ain't mad at it. But we put our stuff on a certain level where we're like, you're gonna have to compete with us. Our studios are clean. Our vibes are right. Our vibes are right as people. We treat people right. So I think we got a lot going for us that you're gonna have to do all that to compete with us for real.
I was doing some research, and you guys have on your website, you have about in your bio talking about your mission, your vision, and your core values. And that's some things I've never seen on a website for a studio. I want to get into it real quick. And it says your mission is to provide a unique recording experience and offer much more for a simple studio, maximize all resources, and for your networks. And I want to talk about that. Do you guys, when you have an artist or a producer come in, do you guys try to maximize your resources under y'all belt to help them as well to prevail?
Yeah, I want Kevin to chime in on this. I'll just say that we always try to, as much as we can. Sometimes it's really up to the person to allow that to happen, right? And to trust the expertise. Sometimes people, they don't really want that, right? They just want a studio. That's fine. We could do that. We could do more too. But I think we're similar in the way that we value like treating people right. So I do want to hear Kev's kind of. We are very similar, so I'm always down to have him say something.
Yeah, no, it's the same. It's the right artist gets the right treatment. You know what I mean? We're pretty good judge of character, so if someone's taking their shit serious and they really want to elevate, then we're down to help for sure.
You said your vision is to become a premier location in this music industry, this music business. What's that going to take? Is it the right artist, the right getting some plaques up in here?
I mean, I think we're slowly building. I think that once we can bridge the gap between competing with these big studios, people are paying $5,000 for a session. We want to be an alternative to that. Better clients, bigger clients. We want to get relationships with labels. I think it's been happening. We're slowly on that trajectory, but keep building from more.
Get the pop music up in here.
Yeah,
Get the live bands in here. I feel you. All right. And the one last thing was the core values. It was take artist approach, lead with fundamentals and experience, produce quality, and foster creativity. Can y'all talk about that real quick? I'm telling you, I'll go to many studios' websites, and they don't have these values or their missions of what they want to accomplish for their studios, even for their clients.
Well, I mean, it's more work, right? And work meaning we have to put energy into that, right? It doesn't just happen. So when someone pulls up, most likely you're going to see him or me or both of us. It ain't just the engineer, it ain't just the producer. And we're in there like listening to your music, figuring out what you do, following you on Instagram, seeing what's going on. We're the owners. And you go to these other studios, the owners aren't there. They're looking at it like a business, but we got such a passion for music that we're here, and we're definitely trying to build every single relationship one by one. It's long days and a lot of different energies to go through, but at the end of the day, most people make us feel like it's worth it, you know what I'm saying? Because they're coming here and they appreciate what we're doing. They see that we're putting that energy into it too,
Between you and Kubla, who be here the most?
I don't know.
It'd be ups and downs, but I mean,
who pick up that phone if a client calls?
Oh yeah,
that's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Kev definitely put in some hours. I'll definitely try to hang. Sometimes he looks at me like, "Go home, Chris." I got a full-time job, so I want to be here, but I know I got to wake up and do this whole other thing. So yeah, I'll be on the phones, I'll be on the emails, but we locked in on every kind of thing. We talk all throughout the day about everything that's going on. So we're totally like 50-50, like this is us, you know what I'm saying?
Kubla, was you out here in Koreatown at this location already when y'all linked up, or did y'all have to find this location and build it from scratch?
We actually found it through one of the neighbors down the hall who was doing K-pop. We just found it through a friend. And we was like, these are nice rooms. How much these rooms? At the time, it was a good rate, and
You said at the time.
At the time, it was a good rate. Inflation there. At the time, it was a steal. No, I'm just kidding.
Now, before you met the homie down the hallway, was y'all going to different places trying to find that perfect spot?
No.
Because location in studios, like you need that location.
We never looked at each other and were like, let's build a studio together. Like it just kind of happened out of things happening. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't planned.
Okay. Do you see Hush Money Music going into the music business as a label? Anything like expanding other than just the studios?
I mean, we've been thrown into some situations probably before we're ready, to be honest, and we definitely did our best to deliver what some clients wanted, and we got into helping with marketing. We've been executive producers of videos, pretty big budget ones. We've definitely dealt with people trying to start their careers and get all their pages and platforms and publishing and all that. And that's basically what labels are doing. But to be real, I think labels are looked at for money, right? And at this time, like, we're definitely not in a position to be giving people like deals and fronting them money or anything like that. We're more focused on, we can do what we can for people, but like, he makes music that I believe in, you know, and I make music that we want to get out too. So that's where we got to balance it out, you know.
Yeah, I think it's the same. If we find the right artist, we got to snatch them out. You know what I mean? But you just don't know until.
But what we would offer them is an ecosystem, studio, producers, all that. Maybe not the cake, but everything else.
No,
you know
I get that. Music-wise, what are you guys working on personally?
Man,
Cool, I know you just dropped something.
Yeah, we just dropped Close Friends with my boy Nicky. Shout out. We got a few in the chamber. We just
let me see. This is why I like. Look,
y'all was talking about that earlier.
This is how it works, right? So he pushes me, right, and he'll be like, "Yo, you got to drop this, right?" And I got to do the same for him, right? Because that's the biggest thing I've seen in this is people get in their heads. That's a commonality of artists and producers. And, you know, it's just like, oh, no, it ain't right, it ain't good, or it's not time, or I don't know. And then everybody needs a little push, right? But we were just going through it the other night. He's got an indie EP, indie rock pop type thing. He got R&B joints, and he's rapping on some stuff. He's got like 4 or 5 different lanes, and just groups of 3 to 4 songs on each one. And so it's just time to just drop these things, man, for sure, and just see what happens. We got some EDM stuff, so it's crazy to see. He's got a gift for this, you know, and my purpose is just how can we run these studios and take some shots and just see what happens, you know what I mean?
Have you found a balance between being an artist and a business owner? Both of y'all, because y'all both business owner, y'all both artists. Like, is there a balance? Have y'all found that yet?
We starting the year off right, but
yeah, we aren't good with this year. I don't know. There's a level of like imposter syndrome too, right? Like, you know, I don't definitely walk around feeling like I'm a business owner, but you know, we are just, you know.
You don't gotta walk around with it, but it's like, but you walk in the room, you feel me, and you.
Stuff on the rug, you know?
Hey, check out this fresh Hush Money rug. You feel me? Hey, fresh off the press, you dig? Yeah, can you talk about? Let's talk about studio etiquette. You know, because I know there's multiple different type of sessions y'all been in, and like, what is y'all do's and don'ts in the studio?
Don't smoke in the booth.
Don't smoke in the booth?
Smoke in the booth, man. Don't smoke in the booth.
That's a no-no? What?
The booth,
I mean,
man.
it's look, we always try to explain it's not us. Like, I'm not the smoke police. It's some people don't smoke. And they come in here and they make a stinky face. And they're like, ugh, it looks cool, but what's wrong with that? You know, we can only spray so many sprays. When booths don't have ventilation, you know, and so, yes, half the clients probably smoke, the other half don't. So we try to make it work for both, you know, and at some point, yeah, you want to smoke while you're rapping, but really, are you going to be inhaling while you're rapping? No, they're just going to sit there and let the blunt burn and smell up the studio. Smell up the booth. So we always want to respect everybody. We definitely let people smoke in the studios, and we have ashtrays. But you know, sometimes you come in after a night session, they ash everywhere but the ashtray, and you're just like, oh, treat this like you would treat your home. Like, no, we can't say that because that's probably how they treat their home. You know what I'm saying?
Ashing on their carpet.
I'll speak on this. So it's a little bit weird for me because I come from the old school studio vibes where it's like, I think it's appreciated being in the studio. You know what I mean? It was just a big deal to be able to be in the studio. So it's an adjustment. These young cats today are just like, you know, everybody can just pay $50 and get in the studio. They don't have as much respect from interns, producers. You know, back in the days, like, you just shut the fuck up. You sit in the corner. You know what I mean? You learn. You soak up.
Now everybody got an opinion. They want to say
You
something.
know what I'm saying? They're just like commenting on your shit in the middle of it, like, so that's definitely harder to deal with.
Do you guys ever like have y'all see y'all vision for the studios, like the Quad Studios in New York, or like the very specials in Tarzana? Do y'all ever like implement like how y'all want to see yourself like 3 to 5 years? Like what's going on with that?
You know, I think when we get business-minded people that come in here, they see what we're doing, and they can tell we really care, and that we're putting a lot of energy. They always want us to shoot for the moon, and they're like, why don't you go buy your own building? And that's really what it sounds like would be that longer-term thing. It's hard when you've invested in a place that you don't own, right? Because I can't take these walls that are double wall thick and soundproof. I can't take that glass off the booth over there that we just built. So we here, bro. And if we do that, we'll probably do both. Keep these and then do something big somewhere else. And this is the small joint, So it could happen. But right now, like the strategy is opening up other revenue streams, right? So like this revenue stream is one, and if we're looking at business, you got to find a way to like, what's the easiest next revenue stream? So it might not be studios because we got that revenue stream.
Facts. Are you guys, say an artist, a big time artist, want to use your studio, and would y'all let him use it for free? And let's just tell him to post, tag us, and shout us out every time you in here? Or are you like, yo, I need this fee? Which one's more important to you right now? Like that money or getting the recognition out?
I don't even think it's recognition, but
yeah. Like, getting like the publicity out, like, yo, the marketing
I'd
out.
just like to see fire artists come through, you know what I mean? So it's probably more important for me to just have fire people in here, but it's weird that the artists who have the most money and are successful usually don't end up paying for sessions, you know what I mean? It's random like that, but it depends who the artist is also. If I don't like them, you know what I mean, they gotta pay that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also, if it's more like artists are trying to work and they're being cool, it matters. If they're bringing 10 heads in and everybody running around just trying to not work and just use our space and just disrespect it, which easily could happen, right? And it might not even be intentional, right? It's just people just don't realize how much love we put into this spot. And all the walls are white, so you do anything to these walls, we gotta wipe them down, and we're over here, we got too much going on to be like having people not treat it right. So it's when people don't pay for something, sometimes they don't value it too,
Have y'all turned down any clients because of their vibe was wrong?
Yeah, those fraudulent behaviors.
Scammers.
I call them out. I was like, hey man, your last charge got reversed. You got anything to say about that? Hang up. Don't hear from them again. I call them out.
What y'all do? How's that like get resolved? Like the business side.
We got
of things.
scammers insurance. We got to pay more of a fee and take more bread from us so that we got a buffer of money that if it goes the wrong way, it's covered. Everything comes with a price, man. So. And we just be on the lookout. We be here, we be looking people in the eye. What's up? You here?
I hear that. Okay. HushMoneyMusic just did a partnership with Python P, a Pack Music Group. Can y'all talk about how you two link up and the partnership come to life?
Yeah, some things is timing. I've known about Python for years, and I grew up with someone that was really close to him. That grew up with him. Moved out to Palm Springs. And I went to high school with him, and I knew he did music. I knew he had the studios. Just like, wonder when this is gonna happen. Sure enough, he ended up. I think I hit him, and he sent me a pack. And I love this one track. We made a track called Higher, and I brought him in, let him hear the progress. Oh, we had a choir on it. Hear it now, and boom, about to drop it. So that started it, and then he was like, man, looking around like I want to be in here, And so he started bringing in his people. And sooner or later, we see him Python every other day. And then we talked with his boy Sherm, much love, and I talked with my boy Cool, my partner, and we was like, we gotta figure something out. But yeah, the big butt himself. So we just getting started with that.
I love to see he is a hard working man out here, you feel me? One of the hardest producers on the West Coast, you feel me? I'd love to see it. He got home now, so that's dope. I'm gonna give him this motherfucker too.
Doors open.
Kuba, can you talk about the? Are you still like in contact with people from the AZ and the hip hop scene out there?
Man, I'm really not really bad at that.
You bad at that?
Yeah, it was hard for me to figure out how to get into the music scene in Arizona when I lived there, which is why I moved out here. You know what I mean? But I have heard of it. Like there's a circle of artists from Arizona. What's the dude's name? Alexis, Samuel Pogo, a couple heads I've been running into. They got some good shit going on, but I need to tap in a little more.
When you move out here, how long did it take for you to get really tapped in and get your music not popping, but off the jungle going?
Oh wow, yeah, I moved out here in like 2010. Slept in my car for about a year, did the whole intern thing, clean cars, clean studios. It probably took like a good, I'm not gonna lie, it took like a good 7-8 years before I really started making any money.
What came first, artist, songwriter, or producer?
Producing.
What made you, how'd that like catch your eye first?
Yeah, I just was trying to have beats, but I just couldn't, beats weren't as available as they are now. There weren't beat stars and shit like that, so I just didn't know how to get beats, so I just learned how to make beats myself, you know what I mean?
All right, give me your top 2 producers.
Oh,
I only gave you 2.
I don't know. I'm gonna just go with the classics. I'm gonna just go with Timberland and Dre, obviously, you know what I mean? But
alright, Timberland still got his shit on. Yeah, I fucks with it, alright.
Yeah.
Alright, my man, Chris Thompson, artist, producer as well. Can you talk about Palm Springs and why'd you move out here?
Yeah, it was just a time where I feel like we all get lost at some point, and I was just not sure what I was doing. And I wasn't really making music. I had gone through like just plateaus of not making music, and I just felt something was missing. And I talked to a few people, and they were just like, "You gotta get out of here." And my mom was like, "Yeah, you can go." And I was living with her at the time, and that was hard because I was like, "Man, that's my mom's that's my dog," and we've been through a lot, So she was like, "You can go," and I was like, "All right." She's like, "You can always come back," right? So came out here with no plans, nothing set in stone. One contact, the guy that knew him, that was working with him, and that one lead led to all this. So you gotta have some blind optimism, I guess is what they call it.
Faith. Gotta have that faith.
Sure.
That's what it is.
So, I still got boys that I definitely wish I could bring them here and have them live this life with me. My dog's back home. We made a lot of music together. But at some point, like, I had to try to see what I could do and take my own path, and never regret nothing, man. Just been through a lot, bro. I've been rapping for 22 years or something, and that's just weird to say, but a lot of doubt along the way. But when I think about it, I'm like, nah, I got something, but we all just gotta go through these phases of doubt, and then like, oh, something dope happens. Oh, someone said this. Oh, this happened. Like, right when you lose a little faith, you just get a little tap, and it's like, yep, you good. Keep going,
I hear that. When you lose a little faith, you gotta keep going. Sometimes Jim Jones say you lose motivation, stay disciplined, that shit will come back.
Yeah.
Something like that. You feel me?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, you feel me? One of your songs recently got into 2K21 Next Gen. How did that make you feel? Did that give you more confidence? Like keep going? Like yo, finally this shit's catching on.
That's not a little tap. That's a big tap.
Okay, yo, pay attention.
And I was like, you see that? The trippiest part about that, one of them was just like, my boys, we would play video games, and then we used to just chill, right? Like, and I used to not even play that much. We would just be in a room, but we playing 2K. And now my song is on that shit, right? And that was like, whoa, I'm glad that I stopped doing that and started doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because the songs don't get made while I'm watching my homeboys play video games. They get made when I'm making music and struggling and sucking at this shit for years. Right? You just heard him 7-8 years not making money. How many people are going to go through that? So you got to go through the mud, and then all of a sudden something comes out. Where do they get diamonds at? They got to mine them. So like that was a big moment. That was a big moment. That was the biggest moment at that time for sure. Bro, getting on the NBA game for sure.
I love it. I asked all my guests this. I'm gonna go with you first, Kubla. Who had a better playlist growing up, your mom or your pops?
Oh, my dad's African. He listens to wild ass shit. He put me on Bob Marley though. That's good. But my mom's white, but she's the most soulful white woman. She put me on everything. She's
She's
Motown.
white, like white.
She's white. I'm Jewish white. She's like.
Is that like, I ain't gonna say
Right,
culture shock or
she's
anything like that, but like how did
Nah,
those two cultures mesh and like how did
Yeah,
that
it was
came
a
with
weird.
you?
Yeah, it was a weird mixture. It was a weird mixture.
Not with you.
It was a wild mix.
Like how do you implement like the African side into music?
I don't. Them niggas, I don't. I mean, like my dad's old school African too, so it's not like the cool like African
He's strict,
shit now.
man.
Like he's like, yeah, that shit was wild. So I didn't really,
His brother been begging him to make that.
Yeah,
That Afro stuff, man.
Yeah.
Well,
That's gonna be fire though. No,
it's another
it's coming up.
It can happen.
Oh no,
It
this
can
shit's
happen.
fire. That shit's fire. I just wish I had more of an accent or something to it. You know what I mean? Because then I'd be killing it, but I just sound too white for it. You know what I mean? I'm not really trying to bet this shit.
Damn, mom.
No, but my mom had fire ass taste in music. She put me on hella shit. She's like on some Luther Vandross, Whitney, like she likes real shit. So she be in there cleaning the house, just killing it. You know what I mean?
No, I love that. In 2023, what is your overall goal right now for Hush Money Music?
I give him the hard question. He's better.
I mean, I think we got maybe three things, right? So we trying to end the year with like at least 20 tracks out, like 20. That's reasonable.
That's really
We're definitely focused on relationships this year, so partnerships, increasing that, and just really kind of exploring opportunities that are right there, like low-hanging fruit. Seeing if we can get a couple of those to come to fruition, and then I think we want to see if we could really have the best year revenue-wise for the studio. Sometimes there's ups and downs, and we've been investing now for, this is our entering our fifth year, so we're kind of like, we want to see what happens when we got our operation tight, we're efficient, we've expanded, we're on a few more platforms now that you can book us on, so we just want to see what happens when people are just flooding our doors and our 4 studios as much as possible.
Congrats with that. 5 years in the game, you feeling strong. Can you talk about like surviving the pandemic? Like was there more business that when it happened? Because EDD and niggas was like got their money, they want to go in the studio, they pay pings, you feel me? Like what happened with that?
Let me set the scene and then I want to pass it to my boy. But basically, it was the biggest highs and lows back to back, right? So first, what we're sitting in right now didn't exist in the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay.
We were in the middle of making this deal for this spot. And right after we signed the deal, the pandemic hit, the city shut down. And we're like,
We were shit.
what? And so we're trying to, like everyone else, figure out what the hell does that mean, a city shut down? I've never heard of this shit in my life. And we're like basically fully invested at that point. And so it was like,
signed the lease.
it's like,
Right when y'all gave the pen back, like, oh, pandemic, what?
Yeah. and then we can't even come here, right? Shut down. And 2 weeks we're sitting at home. I ain't even seen him in 2 weeks. And I'm like, hey, bro, come over, bro. Let's go sit on my roof. And we were just like, we need to game plan. We need to figure out something. And we came to the studio, had all our gloves and our mask on, and we started deep cleaning. We're like, first we got to deep clean because we're scared everyone's going to get COVID. We're going to get COVID. So we deep cleaned all the studios, even though we knew no one could come in. And the other ones we had, because we didn't have this yet. And then you can tell them what happened next. We took like 2 months off.
I don't even remember.
I got you. So anyways, basically people start getting their money.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all of a sudden, we start getting little DMs, little calls, little this, little that. Floodgates open. Smacking that summer. June 2020, July 2020, August 2020. Making more money than we ever made in our lives in this shit. And it was like, what the fuck is going on? And we were grateful. And this spot hadn't even opened yet. This opened September 2020. And then shit really blew up, and we were just grateful because, to be honest, for years, we hadn't made no bread off this shit. Every dollar we made, we threw it back to buy another light, to buy another
I hear that. You reinvested as a businessman. It's a $400 crash can?
My guy convinced me, but guess what? I was reluctant, but everybody that walks in goes, look at that trash can, bro. And I'm like, you're right. They want to come back to
It's
see
a
the
trash can slash fucking
rocket
ship.
We'll show you all
It's a statement piece, man. All right.
Hey,
no, man.
no, but that shit stands out though. It's an
investment.
investment.
It's an asset, right? Like that sign right there, this rug right here. We want people to know, hey, we're doing things different, you know, and not completely different, but we just want our brand to be on a level where people are like shooting content with it because it looks cool. People want to be here and show that they're here. And the first thing people do, they're on Instagram Live walking through our doors. And that's because we created a place that obviously looks cool enough to want to show everyone.
Oh, fact, yeah, I got walking here the first time ever and I see the lights. I'm like, I gotta get my camera out. You feel me? Instagram this. You feel me? It's what it is. You feel me? So, last question. My last question. Give me some words of advice for upcoming studio owners, entrepreneurs.
Don't fuck with us. Man, advice for studio owners.
Or you can be artist, producer, songwriter, because you was all of them. You know?
Yeah.
You're a business person, you're a business owner.
Yeah,
artist, producer.
it's a game of timing, and you don't really know when timing's gonna align. So you just have to figure out how to survive and stick in it long enough to where things align. That's it.
Yeah, so let me give you some lessons that I've seen because the business owner part, I could talk a little bit about that, but like if you knew how cool this guy is under uncertainty, I admire it. It's not me, and he helps balance me out with that. But you gotta be ready to weather storms of not consistent revenue, of not knowing where your next job is gonna come from. He's going on a decade of that. You know, and obviously it works out, it keeps working out, and because of that, he's able to wake up and be cool with that. And so I don't know how many personalities can naturally deal with that. So you got to train yourself to be like, if I start tripping, because if he started tripping, I would be tripping. So he keeps me cool. So and I think the biggest thing is like you gotta have partners in this shit. You can't do it by yourself. Go try. Go see somebody that's doing something by themselves. I don't know too many people that are really doing something by themselves and actually doing something. So what does that take? You gotta be down for them just like they're down for you. You gotta see things from both sides. You gotta compromise. You gotta have trust. So these are all things that people don't really have usually innately, especially in LA. So it is like you gotta choose. Do you want longevity, or do you want to hit and run? You know, as far as like artistry and stuff. Everybody says find your lane. That's just confusing still because it's like, what does that mean?
I say find your lane. I say find your lane is put out as much music you can until somebody or fans be like, yo, this is you. This is what we like about you. I'm like, that's your lane. You feel me? That's what people is fucking with you. This is your sound. This is what you need to do. You know, put out as much music you can. Different type of variety sound, trap, EDM, whatever. You feel me? R&B, melodic, and whatever the fans. Your algorithm, your analytics is saying, this is what they fucking with.
Those are jewels right there, and we're still learning that and trying to. It's like knowing the information's half the battle, and then it's applying it and actually believing it and sticking to knowing that, because that's a fact, in my opinion. So, I think the other thing is just not tripping out and overreacting to things that don't go right. You know, because you are. What do you think's gonna happen? I trip out on you because something happens, right? This interview don't come out or it comes out late, whatever. And all of a sudden, what's gonna happen with us? We got nothing. And then on top of that, you're gonna be like, yeah, those fools had a cool studio, but they were whack. And like, I don't want to be a whack dude. You shouldn't want to be a whack person. So just know that like you gotta deal with shit the right way, and have some maturity about things. And don't always think, oh man, these guys doing me wrong, or this is the world's gonna fall on me. That's a lot of people do that. And they walk into rooms complaining about some shit, and you're like, okay.
You know, I give homies 5 minutes to complain. After that, shut the fuck up.
I love that.
Get away from me. Like the next 5 things you tell me has to be the solution. Like, because I'm not about to be drained with that shit.
With
you
that.
feel me? Because humans, you feel we you'll dive into that energy. You feel me? You'll be like, yeah, my problems too. You feel me?
Yeah.
Fuck that. No, man. Mindset is everything in this motherfucking life. You feel me? Like, you gotta have your mindset right. If you don't have your mindset right, the world's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna all this, like you talk about the storms and all that. You gotta have the mindset right so you can weather the storm, so you can stand strong. You feel me? Don't get pushed back. You feel me? Stand strong so you be able to keep moving forward. Baby steps are still moving forward. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
So fuck all that.
I'm with all that.
Yeah, you did. You have anything to say? Last thing, Cooper? Nothing. No, hey. Appreciate y'all once again for having us. We is at Hush Money Studios with Hush Money Music. It's your boy Bankhead, straight out Trunk Radio. Make sure you tap in, you dig. Make sure you book right now. Make sure you hit up my man Chris Thompson. Make sure you hit up Kubla. You feel me? They are artists as well. But we here at Hush Money Studios, Hush Money Music. Book right now. Hey.
Can we hit him with one of these?